when you're coming into these businesses, what kind of business operating systems do you enjoy working within? So when you're going and someone has 10 practices, they want to go to 20. When you're coming in, do you want to start with a clean slate, or do you want to have different business operating systems, or is there different ways to approach it? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I would say we are not a formulaic cookbook style of a consulting company, and I'm glad you asked that question, because I do think that there are a lot of dental practice management companies out there that do have more of a cookbook, and that's okay, because when you're working with solo practices, if they come to you looking for that cookbook, they couldn't build a cookbook on their own, and the cookbook has a ton of merit. All right. So for us, we work with specialty groups, we work with multi-specialty groups, we work with general dentistry groups. Some of them have centralization of services, some of them have no back-end support. Some of them are growing through de novo strategies, some of them are growing through acquisitions, some are a blend of both. It's all over the board. So the reason we build that financial model that I referenced earlier in the conversation is to give us an understanding of the performance of the business and where there are gaps, where something is not hitting on all cylinders. That allows us to go into the discussion around systems and processes and the way they do what they do. One of the things that when we have people first reach out to us, I always ask them two questions. The first question is, what are you trying to build and why? I know that's probably two questions technically, but like,
Yeah.
what are you really trying to build and why are you trying to build it? Because I want to understand, do they have clarity around it? Or is this just a, hey, everybody else is doing it, I want to do it too? Well,
Or something like,
that
I want to be the best ever, right? Or something like
yeah,
that. You can't even measure it. Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, this is going to be a challenging conversation to have,
Yeah.
but if they don't understand what they're trying to build with any clarity and the why that's driving them, those are some of the things that I can only solve for on a very limited basis. On the other hand, when you talk to somebody who can answer those, they know the answers to those questions. And as soon as they say, I want to build this type of I want to build a business that's built for exit in 5 years and it has a predefined outcome. This is where I am. They know where they're going. Okay, I can work with that. Or if they say, hey, I want to build a lifestyle business that my kids are going to go to dental school and come into in another 10 years, and I want to make sure it's ship shape for them, and that we're going to have a legacy business. I'm great with that too. You know what's your driver, so what are you trying to build and why? And then the second question I usually ask them is, if we're having this conversation 3 to 5 years down the road, how do you define success, both personally and professionally? And that tells me their future mindset and really what they're driving at. And it further corroborates the first question, both on a personal and a professional level. So now I understand what's motivating them and why they've entered the business. We can talk about where they are from an operational integrity standpoint, systems and processes, and we can start to identify weaknesses or pain points or inefficiencies, and we can start to, based on what we know they want to build, we can give better recommendation on what process is going to work best.
So you're agnostic then of what operating system. You just want to know mentally where they're at so you can help them through the journey. And then do you guys recommend any operating systems at a certain point to help them organize things, or again, are you not in that part of the game?
When you say operating systems, do you mean like
Like,
practice management systems
no,
or
like how they run their business. Like, how do they run their meetings? How do they organize, launching de novos? How do they make that happen, right?
yeah, yeah. So what I would say is DeWalker and I kind of through our entrepreneurial journey, we benefited immensely from the EOS system, Entrepreneurial Operating System.
Yep.
And I know you guys are EO, y'all are
Hmm.
working with an implementer, and
Yep.
I think it's great to see. And we flourished under that system. So when I talked about 5-year, 3-year, 1-year, quarterly, all that's built off of EOS in our mindset. And we
Perfect.
still
Okay.
have our level 10 meetings and our scorecard and our accountability chart and all that kind of stuff. So we're big advocates of that. And we use some of those tools with clients that we work with, even though we're not certified implementers.
Yeah, I get it.
Um,
But
and
you
then,
you like to have you like to see something like that for these practices, so that way they can organize. And shout out to Josie. Yeah, Josie's helped us a lot with EOS, and she does a great job, and she really understands it. And I know there's other people that you work with out there with too. But when I'm walking in to a relationship, having some kind of system. If I don't have a system, you're going to say, hey, you should look at EOS as an option.
yeah, I mean, I would say EOS is fantastic. It's great. I mean, we have some clients that have read the book Traction and tried
Yep.
to self-implement, and the way the book is laid out doesn't make it user-friendly for implementation, but you
Yep.
get the concept behind it.
Mm-hmm.
We derived immense benefit from working with an implementer like Josie, and I've actually got a client who's working with her, and though I don't know her, I know of her, and
Yeah,
it sounds like she's a genius at
she
it,
is.
which is great. So, I mean, I think there is a lot of merit to that. The other thing is that I said earlier, one of the things we try to impress upon people in terms of goal setting and rocks and all that is the start less and finish more piece, and not try to build the entire business in 90 days that you set out to plan over 5 years. And I think that EOS forces you to only take on what you can achieve and complete within a 90-day phase. And I think that's immensely important for somebody who's newly transitioned into a leadership position and his or her operational team that's responsible for executing it. If you think, visionary integrator type of a role, DeWalker's the visionary for our business. I'm the integrator. So all of his mad genius and his 101 ideas every quarter, and I'd say, okay, pick 3.
Yeah, at the
Just that
most,
you got,
right? Yeah.
yeah, you can pick 5. I'm going to strike 2, and we're going to have 3. So, but I think that's important because successful businesses are built around execution, and you just can't stress that enough. And you
Mm-hmm.
can't be everything to everybody, and you can only execute on a finite number of things in a given period of time.